Cool, so we've opened up Maya. So our first step would be just to import in our cameras. So if we go File, Import, and navigate to where you exported out your multicam, mail script, or depending on what software you're using, it probably won't be a mail script, it would be something else. But just wherever you exported your cameras out, and we can import that in. And hopefully you didn't export the scan with it, so you can, it's not crashed. So if we open up our scene group, we can now see we've got 3 cameras here, and our lens cameras. We can delete these lens cameras, we don't need them anymore. So if we select all these, we can zoom out. You can barely see it actually. So, okay, so we can sort of see our cameras. So we'll just now go File, Import. Let's import in our scan. So let's bring in our set scan. Let's bring in our decimated one because it's a little bit lighter. This one's quite large. I need to trim off that random bit of scan geometry as well and re-upload it. Cool. So now if we go to our panels, perspective, we can see that we've got all our cameras in here. They've kind of been numbered in a way that 3D numbers stuff, but it's fine. And we'll just go through, you know, let's delete that because we know what that is. Underscore cam. And we can go through each one of these and switch out our footage. So if we select our camera, because this is still the footage the original footage we tracked, it's not the undistorted plate. So if we select our camera and go to our attributes editor, then go to our image plane shape, we want to go to here and switch out our image sequence. So wherever you rendered off your undistorted plates, this is where it might have been easier to put them in separate folders, but it's my fault. But you can select any of the S10 ones. It doesn't have to be the first one. Just make sure you select Use Image Sequence, and it will bring it in the correct place. So now we'll change our alpha gain to 0.7. This is purely my preference. You don't have to. You can have it at 0.4 if you want to see more of the geo, or 0.9 if you want to see more of the plate. I just find 0.7 is a good, happy, medium sort of place. So your color space should be raw. Then change our depth in placement to 1. So now we can see our entire scan over the plate. And it's much easier to sort of do your layout and stuff like that. So now we've done that one, let's go on to our second one. Panels, perspective, S20. And let's rename this one as well to cam. Just so we know it's cameras. We can tell it's cameras because it's got the camera icon, but sometimes it's nice just to call it that as well. So we'll do the exact same thing. Select the camera, go over to our image plane shape, and we'll navigate to our footage, so our undistorted plate, and make sure you select the right one with the right plate, otherwise it will look really weird and not work. So open, I use image sequence, change this to 0.7 and 1. So if we actually turn our wireframe shaded on, you can see it's working really nicely. So if you put your spaceship in there, like, you just have to imagine that this sort of concrete ramp is actually a spaceship ramp, and he's coming out to mess up some rebels or something like that. So don't forget also that I just noticed as well that, see how it's done that? That's just it's at the end of the frame range. So you can see it's coming at the longest range. So our longest range is not that one, I think it's this one. Cool. So our longest range is the first one. So all the other ones will sort of have less keyframes, but don't worry about that. So now we'll go to our third one. We'll just rename this again. And we'll do the same thing. We'll go through and change our image plane to the undistorted plate. It's 30. Use image sequence. Change your alpha gain to 7. And your depth to 1. And you can see that's working pretty well. What we can also do on this, because we've got this in the foreground and some excess geo, like, more than welcome to trim this geo down and do whatever you want with it. But for the sake of this, I will just change my near clipping plane. Oh, if you're changing your near clipping plane, make sure you change your depth as well. So let's change the depth to 50. And let's change this. Cool, so that's now out the clipping range. So you won't have any of that rubbish in the way, but it's up to you. Cool, so yeah, we're pretty much done with this now. We've got all 3 of our cameras in. If we go to our perspective and have a look at them all. So let's see if we can select our perspective camera. And let's just turn up our far clipping plane and near clipping plane so we can see a bit better. So where is that camera? Let's just scale these up so we can see them a little bit better. Scaling them up doesn't affect the channel, it's just the icon, so don't worry about it. And because all these cameras start at 1001, they'll all be in sync. So not that they need to be in sync, it just means that you can always just render from 1001. Cool, so we're pretty much done with the multicam tutorial. I won't go through and do the rest of them because it's just the same process over and over. But hope you enjoyed it, and if you like this tutorial, hit that like button and subscribe for more like this.